No, Game Slayer's putting himself in position for the first upset of the tournament.
Yes, he has.
All
So we're going
right.
to go ahead and get on into game number 3 in our best of 3 series between PB Head and Game Slayer. And I am excited to see if we are going to have the first upset of the tournament here. Everything else just straight on through by the seedings, but Game Slayer number 4 against PB Head number 1. This could be interesting, and that's an amusing question out of Game Slayer. Is there actually a space for a colony here? He has a point.
This is a tricky map. Boy, I guess I would go Scavenger maybe in the west.
I would, you know, I mean, like, if I ran into this on Quick Match and I was kind of having a bad day, and I just, you know, I mean, there's a concede button for a reason, right?
Well,
Oh,
you
man.
Until after you found. I feel like that Scavenger spot is significantly... Well, we're going to see PB's going to go robotic in the northwest. PB's going to go robotic in the northwest. Game Slayer's going to go Scavenger in the west. I'm calling it now. Question is who does which first. PB Head should wait as long as possible.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to have any quick founds this time. Oh, well, never mind. That's what I thought might happen, honestly, if there was a quick found.
Yep.
PB Head grabbing up that Scavenger spot. Game Slayer had one ready to go, though. He has stuck himself in a crater. In a series like both of them have, but I think Game Slayer's is a bit more restrictive.
Yeah, his is awful. I hate his.
That's an awful crater to be stuck inside, whereas PB Head, he definitely has access to triangles if he abuses the area correctly, and he also has significantly better carbon. I think he's even got better aluminum, just a little bit closer.
He definitely has better carbon. He just has a better spot straight up. I like PB Head jumping on the found here because I knew that PB Head could make something else work besides Scavenger, but I don't necessarily believe that Game Slayer can make something else work because I feel like Game Slayer is so used to Scavenger.
We'll have this done in a jiffy.
All right. Game Slayer also in a position where PB Head did abuse his initial found first, so he got those better resource cells and buys, it looks like, at the very start of the game. So Game Slayer is running a bit behind as we move into HQ level 2 here. And what's PB Head going to do? PB Head looks like very, very standard Scavenger stuff. No third carbon.
I like he's grabbing that high silicon just to the south of Game Slayer. That's got to hurt.
Game Slayer could have beaten him there, I think, but he would have had to be on top of it.
He's taking the low instead.
Yeah.
I'd like to potentially see an underground nuke on that one. Although he should underground nuke. PB Head's one medium.
Oh, for sure.
That should have happened a long time ago.
That should have already happened, basically. Yeah, that could have been interesting.
That's a shot in this game, basically. Because PB Head has a much better location. I mean, he'll still be okay, even with that medium getting knocked down, but, like, man.
I feel like this is a game of chicken to see who's going to bid the highest to try and make the other person bid the highest. I mean, a magnetic storm.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's 2 magnetic storms, but we're talking water, silicon, and aluminum flying through the air this game. That is not a lot of stuff to shoot down. So 2 magnetic storms do go on over to Game Slayer.
Yeah. He's going for 2 waters, and they're separated, which is interesting.
That is interesting.
I wonder why he grabbed the first water to begin with. Kind of a weird location.
Yeah.
What does he want all that water for?
I mean, it is nuke resistant, but that is a lot of water at this stage of the game.
I wonder if he's going to build some stuff adjacent to that water, because he just does not have enough room in that crater.
That may be what it is, in part, is just this idea of, I need to be able to put down stuff out there.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll help him. It's very strange, though.
That first high water, I think, was definitely that was a bad claim on Game Slayer's part.
Ooh, okay. PB Head probably feeling a bit more comfortable now. He's got that, he did sacrifice a fast HQ level 3, like a super fast one, in order to pick up that goon squad. But he's got a goon squad on his medium carbon now. It cannot be nuked out anytime soon, and so that is a nice move for PB Head. And he still managed to push to HQ level 3 first.
Yeah, he should have. That house should have been nuked. PB Head's in the driver's seat right here.
Oh, definitely. And Game Slayer, he's not too far behind. Only needs about 800 more, less than that now, to actually push to HQ level 3 himself. But he's just not making money very quickly anywhere just yet.
Yeah.
All these new people. I don't.
All right, 2 glass furnaces. I like it.
Triangle of carbon. He's looking great.
Yep, he should have. Oh, that is going to run out his claims. So he's got water, silicon, 2 aluminum, 3 carbon, 2 glass. He's in a good spot.
Yeah, Game Slayer could go for a 3rd glass furnace, but he just doesn't have the silicon to support it.
Yeah, that's the big thing about Gameslayer right now, not having that high silicon. It's such a huge deal.
Maybe you should go for some power. He used to be the only one on the map with it. He's got that extra claim that's just kind of awkward.
Yeah, he does have that weird extra claim.
Oh, nice move by PB Head.
Yep.
That's a great move.
Nuking out that silicon.
Is that literally the only silicon on the map?
I think there was one more. Yes, there is one more low silicon, and he's taking it.
Oh.
Still, though, that's your extra claim basically gone in exchange for an underground nuke. That's
brutal.
not really what you're looking for, especially because it just so happens that initial silicon that Gameslayer took, this is why it was a very poor decision, the silicon tile that he took first. It was nothing but silicon, whereas the other tile is at least ice.
It should be, you can't tell from the UI, but it should be decent wind, I think, at least.
Yeah, it should be decent wind. That is a fair point. Maybe he could set up some wind power there.
He's got plenty of carbon, so that's not, that's what I would do, switch to wind at this point. But silicon, PB Head should find a way to take advantage of the silicon.
Oh, he already is. He's got 183
Nice.
silicon bought up already.
Yeah.
He's probably going to be trying to force Gameslayer into a rotation, which would significantly slow down his next upgrade.
Gameslayer balances out, though, just by nuking that high silicon, though.
Yeah, I mean, that is an option, but it still just knocks it from a high to a low. You're spending 4,500 resources, which, on a map with 2 scavengers, that is a lot of money. Like, that is a lot of cash. And PB Head, well, he gave up on the silicon in order to get his HQ level 4, and that means he's going to be moving into farms, which are absolutely fantastic right now.
Yeah, for sure.
And Gameslayer...
Yeah, Gameslayer killed that water price for whatever reason, claiming high waters.
The 2 high waters, I think, were a really big mistake, kind of throwing away his initial advantage this game of having extra claims, because sitting on 400 water at $2, not actually making anything water-based...
Yeah.
Definitely a big problem.
He'd be better off just putting solar panels down on one of those tiles.
Yeah. All right, looks like wind turbines coming out for PB, just right next to his aluminum. It's what I expect to see. Yep. Great spot right there for wind. He can always transition the aluminum into more wind itself, so that's gonna... It's only a strong and a moderate, but, it's good enough.
Mm-hmm.
All right, reactors coming down for Gameslayer. That's good. He got rid of some of his water. Managing to move into something to make himself some money. Unfortunately, filthy pirates.
Yeah, I know. We should be seeing them with their appearance very soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, I would be a bit surprised if PB doesn't try and block at least some of that production with some pirates.
I mean, PB likes to get aggressive when he has a lead, so we'll see what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Although the black market prices are super low. It goes for the power surge instead.
That's fine. I mean, I think that's more consistent. And it does a better job of keeping your opponent knocked down without relying on any dice rolling, On top of that, pirates against reactors always feel a little bit awkward.
You're not sure
You're not sure. Are you going to steal like 1/3 of the production, 2/3 of the production? How valuable are the resources? Obviously, they're very, very valuable this game right now, but PB Head would rather knock out Gameslayer and then make his own.
I'm still surprised to see only 2 offensive black market purchases so far this whole game. With 2 scavengers.
Well, they just don't have any money.
Yeah, they're in such a pure race. It just seems like a well-placed one would earn its money back and how much you slow down your opponent.
Yeah, Gameslayer, I think one of his few openings right now might be a strong power surge or EMP onto PB Head.
For sure, look at that water and reactor, food farm and reactor. So.
And a mule pops out. That's a little bit weird. You kind of want to mule silicon in this situation almost, but I don't think you can. Like, maybe Gameslayer could, but he's already, claimed the tile, and it's just... Can you steal a resource that your opponent took with a mule?
What do you mean took?
Well,
you can mule anything that doesn't have a building.
It doesn't have a building. So, theoretically, PB Head could have maybe muled Gameslayer's trace silicon if he wanted to.
Yeah, he could right now.
He chose to go for some carbon instead. Far more straightforward, I like it. And we did see the EMP out of Gameslayer. So PB Head's running on very, very little right now as Gameslayer pushes into HQ level 5.
Yep. I'd like to see that. PB Head should have put that Goon Squad on the southwest farm to sort of block that whatever you call it. isthmus.
Yeah.
The black market is online.
Would have been a great place for a goon squad.
But I think the reason he chose the tile he did, I think he put it down before he hit HQ level 5, so it was kind of like just, this is where I'm maybe going to put an Offworld later.
Yep.
You do have that kind of natural reaction of, I'd like to keep my Offworlds next to my base in case Thinking Machines becomes available.
Yep.
Especially in this kind of matchup. I mean, that could be huge, but... So there is some reasoning to put a farm or a goon squad on that farm, but I do agree that maybe it would have been worthwhile to move it down a tile.
Yeah. With power surges and network viruses available, I feel like
Exactly. That is the turning point. Well, both players pretty even, but PP Head with a significant cash lead, which means he's almost certainly going to push to that Offworld first, unless something really, really weird happens. And on top of that, with him consuming all this carbon, it kind of keeps that price high. Gameslayer has to rely on pulling in his own carbon.
Yeah.
And Gameslayer's carbon is just getting frozen relentlessly at this point.
Man, I would like to see Gameslayer either mutiny that high silicon or do something with it. Like, it's one of the few things differentiating them right now. Well, besides the PB Head, there's a ton of goon squads up, which is great to see.
Yeah, which is fantastic for him. I mean, 3 goon squads. He's finally got that Offworld started. Gameslayer is in D levels of debt. Something crazy is going to have to happen here for Gameslayer to pull back into this one.
No.
How did these guys knock carbon down to $17?
It's kind of amazing. No one's building either glass or electronics. I mean, it's no surprise glass is crappy, and
electronics are electronics, but
But look at the price of water.
I know, the price of water has just gone ridiculous.
Like, and they were heavy. I mean, they were so heavy into reactors and farms. It's kind of a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, we had. I think at one point we had what 9 water a second being consumed by Gameslayer, and then 6 by PB.
Well, at least he's got that second high water.
It's true.
So I think we're going to see 3 water mines very soon.
Yeah, he's already moved on into those.
Flame auction. Wow, that seems low.
Yeah, but Gameslayer's in C levels of debt, and he has to have access to the black market if he wants to stay alive this game.
Ice condenser's coming down. That seems like a fine move.
Oh yeah, it's reasonable. I mean, why not? Water's at $85 and PB Head using that extra claim to grab a little more water. I'm okay with that. Just a water triangle at this stage of the game. Now, we never really checked, but food and oxygen are both ridiculous off-world this game, by the way. So,
yeah, he's making 800 a second from that water triangle.
Oh yeah, I mean, not for very long, but. Oh man, Marsquake. Who is this going to benefit the most? Well, Gameslayer's got a lot more cash in resources right now.
That's basically the question.
And so he might have gotten a nice boost off of that, but it's hard to say if it was going to be enough.
I mean, no off-world, he's not going to...
Exactly, that's the trick. You're so far behind on the off-world. How are you going to move through the game from there?
And the glass and electronics prices are now high enough that it's not really a gimme anymore.
Exactly. Those like that Marsquake really pushes up both those prices. I feel like that Marsquake is great when you're already established and you're looking to push money into the black market or the stock market. But when all you want to do is either upgrade or throw down infrastructure, it is not helping you most of the time.
Yep.
And now we're in a spot where PB Head, he's pushing into his opponent's stock. He's got the off-world established. He's got a goon squad purchased up already. He's got a mutiny and an EMP ready to go as well.
Yep, he's got it.
I think this one is secured, and PB Head did not want to give up his spot in the finals to Gameslayer this time.
No.
2 more stock purchases. He's at the 100%. It should just be 3 more seconds. Red button and the game and the series over to PB Head. 2-1. A lot of 2-1s for PB Head.
Yeah.
This tournament.
We're used to seeing.
Compared to what we're used to seeing, exactly. But still, a solid win over to him. Just getting that first found. Kind of identifying that Scavenger was the way to go this game. Yep. Now he has to fight Cubit, is what he says. Yeah, I mean, that is your punishment for winning.
Yep. They did similar things, but I think PB just did a better job figuring out what was actually going to make money for him.
Exactly. I think we had just a series of small missteps from Gameslayer that cost him there. The first big one being taking 2 high waters. The second one,
high silicon instead, I think it'd be a totally different game.
yeah, I think he would have had the time by the time he upgraded to take the high silicon. I think if he had done that,
Yeah, or
and
nuking,
not taken the high water, he would have been in his position to win this one.
yeah, or nuking that medium carbon.
Fast enough. I mean, yeah, that could have made a difference, especially because it does leave an awkward spot where with your 3 low carbons for PB that he could have taken, there are no triangles there.
Yep.
So, very awkward. Very awkward to deal with if a nuke had actually landed on that medium tile. But still a strong win over to PB. He played it out well. He knew what he was doing and didn't let GameSlayer get in his way. So what do we think?